to it. Spawning in the lower left-hand side of Eternal Empire. Representing Europe in this NA qualifier, as well as Cascade Esports, it is SortOf. And his opponent in the upper right-hand corner. Terran player representing Korea in this NA qualifier. I'm not sure if he's on a team. I'll check that momentarily, but it is DynaMite. SortOf didn't get the whoosh. We'll give SortOf the whoosh. Whoosh. SortOf going for a normally timed expansion here. No aggression. We don't have any proxy racks out of DynaMite either. I think they're... I don't know how often these guys have played against each other. I'm going to go ahead and guess not very often. Based on the fact that I've seen DynaMite play in Alima League a lot. He plays in occasional other online cups, as does SortOf. So they may have hit each other, but the chances I feel like are relatively unlikely. And I doubt they've ever played on the same ladder. I don't know if SortOf plays on KR at all. But honestly, I would say they're kind of close in level. I would give the edge to DynaMite, but only slightly. And there's always a weird thing when there's like an EU Zerg and a KR Terran. Those are kind of the region's like most different races. Like Protoss always kind of plays weird. But like Terran in Korea versus Terran in EU is very different. Same thing with Zerg. They have very different styles, so a clash of styles can really shake things up with who has an advantage or doesn't have an advantage. But I'm a little bit of a DynaMite fanboy. I won't lie. And I haven't seen too much from SortOf. 2019 was not the year of SortOf. Well, his Reaper's getting low. Will not be able to get that creep tumor, which is ideally what he wants, but if the Reaper can hold off this base from being taken for long enough, then it's kind of worth it anyways. Nice dodge on that grenade. But even just this little bit of delaying is annoying. Oh, he doesn't get the drone. But again, just delaying. Oh, and the queen now in the way. Delaying as much as possible. Meanwhile, DynaMite's natural is out. We have Hellions coming out and a third base on the way. Wow, quite a late second gas. And so a very late starport here, but that third is so quick. This is a really greedy third. SortOf speed about to finish. A couple Hellions and the Reaper coming out, but there's already 3 queens up front, so not gonna really be any damage getting done here. Queens can come bully this away, and even slow queens can get back over here in time to defend. I don't think he can get this creep tumor. Maybe with the grenade. Oh yeah, just gets it. That's a really nice pick off there. It looks like SortOf might want to try to wall this off. I don't know about completely, but at least partially. More Hellions coming up to join the fight, but this is a Roach Warren. So we may see some at least safety roaches. We don't have a lair or anything, so I don't think it's going to be a big roach push. But on the other side of things, DynaMite is going for BCs. Unless he's trying to get lib range, but it's not looking like that. It's looking like BCs. Yeah, because he's got the Tech Lab on here. BC openings have kind of come back in style. For a long time, it was the norm. You'd go BC openings like every game. Zergs got really good at defending it. And then now, I feel like Terrans have realized how to utilize the BCs a lot better. But these Hellions are all gonna die. these two will live if he takes them away now. Oh, nice last hit to kill a few more Zerglings here. But economically, this is actually a very close game. Sort of did just make a round of drones, and he has more and more coming. So he is going to jump ahead in that worker count. But considering it's 3 base versus 3 base, triple mule, and there's only a 5 worker difference right now, I think DynaMite's economy is actually looking pretty killer. The big thing here is he really can't lose battle cruisers. They're so important to keep alive, and they can continue to gain value if they're alive. Alright, now if Sort of splits these roaches, they will absolutely destroy these Hellions. But the BC is going to come out and send them on their way. Thing is, Hellions, when they do splash damage, can actually get these roaches down pretty quickly. Is Sort of currently living in Korea? I absolutely believe it, but I'm not positive. It's hard to know who's living in Korea at any given moment of the EU players. So it is going to be Battle Mech to start off here for DynaMite. Just trying to put a little bit of pressure on this 4th base. Taking that forward gas heavy, well, not really gas heavy, I guess it's drone light 4th base. You don't get extra gas from this. It just mines quicker, I believe. Ooh, this teleport has been used up. And there's a ton of transfuse energy, but the heaviest energy queen goes down. Hellions are going to get into the base. We do have 7 corruptors on the way. Ooh, Hellions getting caught a little bit before they get to the drone line. There's no blue flame, so 2 Hellions, not going to do all that much. Only 3 drones going down. I think the biggest thing there was a lot of the transfuse energy went down, as well as at least a queen. This is a very small force here from DynaMite, though, and not a lot to push away these corruptors. We have a couple of turrets. Corruptors can actually use their caustic spray on those turrets. Sorry guys, I do have a 2-minute delay, so if I want to interact with chat at all, it's going to be a couple minutes later. BC comes in, it does have its teleport off a cooldown, but with that 1 second delay, it's going to take a little bit extra damage. Gets a corruptor and gets out of there. Should be able to repair up, no problem. Sort of really not able to put on too much pressure this game. He tried to send a few roaches across earlier, but wasn't all that effective. His 1-1 coming up right now. It looks like that's getting close to finishing here for DynaMite. And now we have tanks coming out. So not going for that heavy battle mech style, and actually continuing on the battle cruisers. Since it's the off season for StarCraft, I haven't seen a ton of the meta, a ton of the games that are going on, but I've heard that mech is very powerful. Oh no, he doesn't have a scan. That was a I don't have a scan move for sure. But DynaMite taking this 4th base up here a little further away from both himself, but also the Zerg. Takes a long time, especially since he's been clearing this creep up pretty consistently. Takes a lot longer for the Zerg to get units up there. We're sort of going for a bit of a surround though, and will catch at least some of these units. Fester's popping out, getting a fungal off. Catching a group of units, but we do have the Big Daddy mech out here now. These tanks are gonna make it a lot harder for these units to really find too much damage. That being said, we have a Greater Spire on the way and a ton of Corruptors out, so it's gonna be really easy to make even just 4 or 5 Brood Lords to put pressure on this very tank heavy composition. Still 2 tanks coming out at a time as that Greater Spire is on the way. Yeah, this is much too fortified of a position here. That planetary is not going down. Not a lot of anti-air. We have 4 BCs here. And 1 Cyclone. That is all the anti-air. So if those BCs can't fight these Corruptors, nothing really can. I would be shocked if we don't see Thors coming out pretty soon. Still just keeping on the tanks. That's going to make it really tough once Broodlords come out, and that Greater Spire is almost finished. I'm getting a little bit concerned here for DynaMite with his army composition. There are a few tanks here. Oh, but the wall is not complete. That is a big hole in that wall. I'm really liking SortOf's army movement here, kind of moving back and forth. That's the big weakness of this tank-based mech. Tanks going down. It looks like this planetary will go down as well. No, not quite. Only 1 SCV on repair, though. It's definitely going down. On the flip side, oh my god, battlecruisers are going to come in. They don't get the kill. They do get the kill. Do we have any Corruptors morphed? We do not. That is no Greater Spire here for a long time. Evolution Chamber goes down just before level 2 missile attacks gets completed. These all should have teleport off cooldown, and they all get out. Nice move, dodges the biles on that really low one. That's so rough for SortOf. That was absolutely a game-saving move for DynaMite. If again 5 or 6 Broodlords get morphed here, and he only has these 5 BCs to deal with it, I mean, I guess he could Yamato them down, but that is not ideal. And now SortOf's in a tough spot. He has to wait for these spires to finish. I assume he's gonna try to get an upgrade and more for Greater Spire. Economy for both players is actually off the rails for DynaMite. Look at him, he's been practicing with TY. Envy, it's just Chicken Man on here. Just Chicken Man. I'm only talking to you guys in chat. Helion's trying to find some damage. SortOf just hasn't been able to get too much done. He was able to kill that planetary. That's a nice kill. And this is still a very tank-heavy army. Greater Spire again on the way. Here we go. Finally getting some Thors out. Oh my god, I can't believe these BCs are living. The timing is so good, even after that 1 second cooldown nerf. Sending those BCs home. He's gonna want to get the, oh my god. Oh, the tank's killing so many roaches and ravagers. Hellion's going for a run by. With Blue Flame, we'll trade decently against the Zerglings, and it looks like they got a queen. That's a nice kill. Now these 4 full health BCs. Oh my god. Fungal actually might lose 2 of them. No, just 1 gets the other ones out of there. Is gonna really have to get on that repair though. More and more Corruptors coming out of SortOf, but now we do have the Thors. DynaMite's fully maxed. Oh my god, these Lings are gonna find this building command center. That's gonna have to be canceled, unfortunately, but there are more building command centers. A lot more building command centers. Oh my god, and even though he has this building, he's just gonna go for it. This is a... It's a bit of a...
Command unacceptable.
It takes some chutzpah, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I like this sensor tower, though. It doesn't quite see the Banes. Ooh. Losing even more roaches. This is looking rough. Again, this is the value of those BCs. I mean, he's lost 2 BCs this game, but considering how many he's made, that's actually really good ROI. And I think that's probably a big part of this value difference here. And considering DynaMite has actually been on Ooh, those Banelings came in and hit, and I missed it. 7 SCVs go down. The planetary does not die. I'd say that's a good trade for DynaMite once again. But yeah, the value here has been really good for DynaMite, and he's been mining more consistently. Or at the very least, he's been even or up on workers for basically the entire game, sort of now down to 69 workers. Loses a base. He will kill a BC. Ooh, that teleport just before the fungal. Gets a BC, so that's unfortunate, but at the same time, DynaMite's moving up here with this very tank-heavy force. Broodlords are going to be very good against those tanks, though. So we're going to want to see more Thors coming out. This is a very air-heavy army for SortOf. There's not a ton on the ground. Some Ravagers, some Lings, some Banes. But Thors and Hellions are going to be quite good against those on the ground. And able to take out the Broodlords without worrying too much about the Corruptors. But this is a very Corruptor-heavy army right now. Which means the BCs, which are the major air force here for DynaMite, are going to have a really tough time killing those Broods. There's too many to Yamato down as well. Oh my god, he built this sensor tower and blocked himself. That's alright. SortOf will take care of that for him. Thanks, bud. BC's just trying to hit wherever the Corruptors are not. We'll lose a BC. Oh, massive fungal. Gonna lose a second BC because of that fungal. Actually, there may not be enough Corruptors here to deal with this. And another base goes down on the other side. Just killing some of those SCVs, but I think at this point, 78 SCVs is enough. You're not fully mining. The natural's gonna be completely mined out very soon. Third's pretty low on mineral patches. I like this double-pronged attack, however, SortOf set up really nicely for it. Tons of Broodlords, so many Broodlords on this side. And tanks cannot fight anywhere near those. There's enough Corruptors now to fight these BCs. And assuming he continually chain fungals, these BCs are not getting out alive. He might be able to get this one out. Yeah. But that's a lot more lost BCs. 10 have now gone down. And there's only 2 left. Going to continue making BCs and some Vikings, but replacing with a lot of Thors as well. I think that's a very smart decision. It's going to make these Corruptors a lot less useful. However, they can turn into more Broodlords. And this is where it gets really tough for DynaMite. He's had some really good moves this game, but he hasn't really done too much damage to this army in a while. He hasn't killed any Broodlords, and that means the Broodlord count is going to continue to move up. 13 right now, 17 after those morph. Tanks taking out bases. DynaMite really wants to take this base. That tank is not going to last very long. We do have some more anti-air out now for DynaMite, but is it enough really to handle this? Without Ghost, without Snipe, it's going to be very, very difficult. There's not a lot of Hellbats here either, or Hellions, and those are really key in killing these Broodlings. It's just going to be the tanks and the Thors dealing with those Broodlings. Yamato's going down on the Broodlords instead of on the Corruptors. And a lot of the Broodlords are going down, but I think all the Thors have died. Oh no, friendly fire. And now there's still a few more Broodlords. Can these air units fight against the Corruptors? It looks like they can. 14 more Corruptors on the way, but I think these Broodlords may at least mostly go down before those Corruptors come out. Big Ling, well, not a big Ling, but the Ling Ravager coming in for some reinforcements as well. BCs, I believe they teleported over here just to try to draw the army out of position. few of those broods will get out of there. Oh, big run by though. It's a very fortified wall, but the corrosive bile is going to take it down pretty quickly. Vikings will land to deal with the Lings, as well as some Hellions being rallied out. Switching into kind of a Thor Viking BC army composition here is DynaMite. Getting out some of those Hellions as well. Money-wise, DynaMite does still have a bit of a bank. And he's mining a lot more, at least mineral-wise, than SortOf. SortOf really struggling on these minerals and losing more drones. This is some really nice play here from DynaMite, trying to pull SortOf out of position. These broods also not going to be good at defending. SortOf really needs to keep some Ravagers, some Lings, maybe even just a few Roaches around. Now we do have a Viper coming out. I think Vipers are going to be really key here. So many Corruptors have died this game. 45 Corruptors have been lost. Currently we're at 13 for the Corruptor count. But we have 8 Vikings and 4 BCs. That actually definitely wins. Parasitic Bomb might be able to help here. I really like DynaMite pushing to take this base. These bases are so difficult to hold for either player. Neither player really able to hold them too much, but some of these minerals have been mined now, so if SortOf's able to take it, it won't be a full base at the very least. Is this Hellion gonna kill that creep tumor? Totally does. Nicely done. BC's skirting down the right side once again. This has been really consistent, moving down either the right or left side. Corruptors, single Viper, and the Infestor's coming back over. He doesn't want to fight against this. Yeah, gonna teleport out of there. Oh, interrupts that teleport, gets 2 of those 4 BCs. Loses 12 drones for it though. And now this very Thor heavy army is going to be much better equipped to fight this. Oh my god, he just wants to take this base so badly. Oh, but the Ravens come out now. And we've got a big Dorito dust on all of these units. SortOf still needs to fight though. He can't retreat easily with these Broodlords. They are not fast enough. And it looks like DynaMite's gonna take this fight very, very heavily. Still a number of ground units here for SortOf. But most of the Broodlords have died. There are still a few spellcasters left. But is it going to be enough to crash through this? Some corrosive biles going down. It might actually be enough here. Tanks on the backside doing so much friendly fire. And it looks like the Broods and the Corruptors will win the day. Albeit barely. DynaMite still up on supply, 150 to 120. Really, really wants to take this base. There's only 2 Corruptors left, 4 more on the way. There's, I think, a few more potentially. No, that's it. That is all the anti-air. So that means these 5 Vikings are actually just going to kill everything as well as the Thors. And SortOf's going to have to tap out. Damn. Nicely played by DynaMite, by both players. Super, super close. Really, really well done. Really back and forth. I think SortOf definitely had the upper hand at one point, but wasn't quite able to capitalize on it enough. He got a good amount of damage done, killed a lot of those BCs, had a ton of Broodlords, but it wasn't quite enough to push in. Those Thors kill the Broodlords so quickly. It's actually insane just watching them get blasted out of the sky. This is a best of 3. So that was just game 1. We have a game 2. And I think there's actually a solid chance SortOf is able to take it. We'll see if he wants to do anything more aggressive, more mid-gamey. Hello, friends in chat. Hello, Lily. Hello, Caveman Jack. Agrippa. Envy. Steve. I hope you're all doing well. We're just waiting for our second game to get set up. And hopefully they remember to invite me. Looks like we're going to Ephemeron. Guys, keep an eye on that bracket. I believe it auto updates. Excuse me. So I don't think you need to refresh or anything. I doubt any of the series are really finished. There might be some quick ones. But yeah, just keep an eye on it. See what's going on. There's some really good players in this bracket, man. I mean, honestly, a lot of the top WCS players are here of all regions. Rainer and a laser, Clem, Goblin, Mana, Denver SortOf from EU, and like every major Korean player. Even Maru's in this bracket, man. You never see him in brackets. Anyways, let's hop into our second game of the series, where we have spawning in the lower right-hand corner, representing Cascade Esports. It is SortOf. And his opponent spawning in the upper left-hand corner, blue Terran player. It is a DynaMite. So this map definitely lends itself to different play styles. I don't feel like I see that kind of back and forth movement that we were seeing in the last game with those BCs and tanks on one side, or BCs on one side, tanks on the other. Broodlords and Corruptors flying all around trying to counter it. It was really interesting movement from both the players in that last game, and I feel like that map allows for that a lot more than this one does. Oh, actually, so DynaMite is on Triumphant Song Gaming. I did not realize. Good for DynaMite. That's awesome. But yeah, the movement around this map, if you have quick units, Zerglings or Hellions and Cyclones, something like that, they can come around these paths a lot more easily. But something like a tank, it's going to have a really long journey going through here to try to get to maybe this base. If you break down the rocks, you have some more options. I imagine we'll see whoever has the more mobile ground force breaking down those rocks. I think that's a really good way to move around the map with a nice mobile army. I have a feeling DynaMite might do the same thing. I think SortOf might be the one who tries to change it up a little bit this game. Reaper again being annoying, but the Queen will come out and tell that Reaper to stop bullying her babies. Reaper has a lot more health. Might try to get that creep tumor. No, not going to go for it. Just going to instead try to delay this third once again. Third's a little bit further away on this map too, so the Queen has further to walk. Oh, doesn't dodge the grenade that time. And I mean, this is just annoying to deal with, but it's like not the worst thing in the world. And gets it down. Reaper does not block it in time. Gets it a single Ling kill though. Oh, second Ling kill. Look at that. Reaper absolutely killing it. Let's take a look behind this. It looks like the same build, so we're going to have this third CC finished up very quickly. And I really like this from DynaMite. I mean, SortOf showed no aggression last game in the early stage of the game. basically no aggression. He sent some roaches across the map at like 6 minutes. But it means DynaMite's feeling real comfortable to take this third base a lot quicker than you might see against somebody a little more aggressive. But I'm not sure if DynaMite is doing this because he knows SortOf. Apparently SortOf did live in Korea, at least at some point, and maybe currently. So it's quite possible these guys actually play against each other a lot more than I expect. And that DynaMite knows SortOf's play style and knows that he's a little bit passive at the early part of the game and is unlikely to do any sort of cheeky, cheesy stuff. That's not something we see SortOf do a ton. He's more of the macro, get the tech up kind of player. And again, we're seeing still no lair, getting close to the 5-minute mark. Roach Swarm going down, so it's looking like the same play style out of both players. So both of them feeling quite confident in how they played, or at least in the compositions they were playing with. And I think actually, I tend to agree with that. Man, pulling back the weak Hellion. I like that a lot. That's a handsome play right there. But yeah, I feel like both of them definitely had moments in the last game where they had the advantage. And with some different moves, there were a number of opportunities that could have gone differently, especially on this different map. Hello, Borsty. Thank you, my friend. Reaper and Hellions not getting a ton of damage done as of yet. Killing maybe a few Lings. Nope, just the 2 Lings, 3 Creep Tumors, and a single Overlord have gone down, but OV Speed is here, so can't stop the Overlords. This Viking is trying, man. He's trying. We do have the lair finishing up now. I imagine Evo Chamber is going to be going down relatively soon. They felt a little bit late in the last game. Oh, actually just going to teleport this VC across once again. Not going to really get too much damage done, though. Transfuses go down. BC gets pushed away, but because the creep has been getting cleared so much, Queens don't have as much energy as they'd like to, and they can't move out as far as they'd like to. So this is just really nice pressure here from DynaMite. He's not trying to get big damage. He's not expecting to get big damage. He's not looking to get into the drone line. He just wants to keep the creep back, keep the energy on these queens low, and potentially kill a queen or two, try to get some good trades. If he can not lose too many units and kill a few units, he'll be in a good spot. Oh, is this base gonna have to be canceled? Yeah. Nice cancel from SortOf, though. Battlecruiser at 40 hit points. Gotta get out of there. Meanwhile, behind this, gonna skip the Cyclones entirely. Go straight to tanks this game. So that looks like a bit of a learning experience. Decides not to go for the Cyclones. And just wants to get into that same army composition as the last game. SortOf going for that Spire. I believe this Spire is earlier than the last game. I don't know if we have any Evo Chambers. No Evo Chambers just yet. So yeah, this Spire going to be before Evo Chambers, before 1-1. Going to want to get those Corruptors out, as well as we have Pathogen Glands on the way for the Infestors. Oh, a few workers going down. Oh, now we get the run by. It does kind of spell doom for these Hellions, but in the meantime, oh my god, 12 workers going down, 16 workers going down. $19 workers total. In the meantime, it looks like this base is gonna have to get canceled. Ooh, gets the replant down. But of course, another cancel, gets the replant again. Quick reaction here from SortOf. There is teleport on this BC. He has to be paying attention, though. Get out of there. Go, 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 run. As the Corruptors come out. Might want to see a turret or two going up here. Sort of going to make 4 swarm hosts? That is a very low amount of swarm hosts. I guess maybe just wants to try to keep a little bit of pressure on at a time. Maybe cause some friendly fire on the tanks. 4 swarm hosts. Alright, we have 5 now. There's 3 out already, so that is going to be 8 swarm hosts. So he's just making them a little bit at a time. I like this though. I like this adjustment. We've seen a little bit of adjustment from both players. No cyclones here out of DynaMite getting those tanks up earlier, but the tank out was very heavy last game and sort of knows that. He's going to go ahead and go for the swarm host to counter the tanks. Swarm hosts are very good when there's tanks out because they do damage, but also tank friendly fire does damage. And this kind of stuff, this isn't a ton of damage, but if they can just keep getting free damage, they can gain a lot of value. Oh, BCs get caught. Get the teleport out right before the fungal. Nicely done. Oh yeah, here you go. Look at that. A tank goes down. Second tank goes down. Just barely. Big Hellions going for the run by again, though. It looks like the Roaches and Ravagers have seen this. Oh, they're not stopping to kill any creep. This is a drone kill run by here. Going for the 3rd base. Couple going down in the natural already. So many going down. Blue Flame here. 20 workers have gone down. Before these Hellions gonna skirt around. BC's at home to clean up the Locust. They won't get a ton of damage done. Gonna get a few SCVs, but oh my god. These Hellions just continuing. 27 drones from that Hellion run by. Versus the 5 SCVs. A few turrets have gone down. A few tanks, I believe. Oh, be careful with this low BC. Oh no, the fungal. BC goes down. That is not a planetary? There are some tanks here, but they're set back too far, I think. So more SCVs going down, more mining time lost. Meanwhile, the Locust hitting over here, that is a lot of Locusts. More and more swarm hosts have been made. 14 swarm hosts on the map now, so now sort of getting the damage he really needs done. 16 more SCVs going down. However, sort of still down 61 to 75 workers. Ooh, and a lot of those Roaches going down. But without anything to really take care of these swarm hosts, you really need to get swarm host kills or make them do absolutely no damage. And they've been continuing to do damage and gain value. Now the swarm host is going to move over here. Tank friendly fire, going to kill some of those tanks. And again, just gaining value. Bit of a weird attack here. Tanks moving out to try to get on top of those swarm hosts before the next Locust wave. But the Roaches and Ravagers counterattacking up towards the main base. Yeah, and all SortOf has to do is just run away. He's like, you're sieged up. All right, I'm just gonna move back. Let these Roaches and Ravagers go get some kills. They may end up dying, but they will kill all these SCVs first. On the meantime, again, DynaMite with this nice run by of the BCs. Gonna kill all the workers at this base. And go for the Yamatos. Onto the Corruptors. And then moving back. One Roach still not taken care of. Locust here should be killed relatively easily. Now DynaMite knows this is his chance to move forward. There's not a lot of units other than those Locusts, especially after that big run by, and he knows it. Greater Spire is not finished yet. In between Locust waves is a really dangerous time right now. DynaMite is going to pull back. Doesn't want to overcommit. Worker count now equalized, but the base count is also equalized. So very similar mining here for both players. Ooh, grabs a swarm host there. Locust will come out. Locusts kind of land on a lot of Hellbats, so they don't do a ton. This group of Locusts, though, actually doing a lot more, killing a Thor, a couple of tanks. But again, now that that Locust wave is finished, can DynaMite move out to try to get some damage done? Corruptors on the right side of the map, probably going to look for a caustic spray. They can take out a planetary very quickly. It's not something we've really seen used too much here from SortOf. He's had a lot of Corruptors, both last game and this game. Oh man, this row of tanks. Some Biles go down, but don't quite get the kills, but the Locusts are coming out. Yep, we're gonna have to see the unsiege and pull back. Couple of these tanks left to tank. The Locusts make them land. I think these units are about as quick as each other, but Locusts are flying. They're not gonna get any kills. Might want to get a repair on a couple of these units, but the BCs moving around the right side. 6 BCs now. Ooh, this Overlord, nicely done. Spots the BCs. Meantime, the main army moving through. Again, this army movement is really nice. Now SortOf has a lot more roaches this game than we saw from him last game. BCs did teleport away. Looks like one BC may have gotten killed there. Decent, well, I guess pretty even trade on this side with the roaches. But as the Locusts come out, yep, these units going to want to get out of there. Hellions moving down for maybe a little bit of a run by. There's a couple of spine crawlers here to defend. Oh, Thor. Takes a little bit of damage, but not too much. Unfortunately, the Hellions here not doing a whole lot. Roaches should be able to go clean them up. Locust coming in will kill a turret, an SCV, maybe a couple of SCVs here. Forces a cancel. I think that was just a kill. But Locust over there means there's not many Locusts for this side. He uses what he has, but there's not much here. We'll kill 2 tanks with it. Actually, that's not bad. But now we have a big attack. There's only a few Broodlords here. There's actually enough Thors to handle these Broodlords if he focuses them. And he will focus them. Look at those Broodlords die. BCs move way out of there. There's not a lot left here for DynaMite, though. A lot of those tanks did go down. And now a new wave of Locusts is ready. Oh, a couple of Swarm Hosts going down. But tanks being sieged up. There's no Hellbats here. So Locusts and Lings getting on top of all these tanks and Thors. They will all go down. And that's a lot of DynaMite's army. His army supply down a bit now. SortOf can't really push though because he doesn't have much either. Remaking some Ravagers. Spending a lot of that gas. 8 more Swarm Hosts on the way too. So he's really going to commit into more Swarm Hosts. And a few Vipers, which I think will be really nice against tanks. Especially if they're clumped up. Might be able to yoink a BC. And here come the Corruptors. They should be able to corrosive bile this down in no time at all. That damage stacks like crazy. A few Hellions going for a run by. Will kill 8 drones and a Swarm Host. Kills a group of Lings as well. Pretty nice run by all things considered. DynaMite though threw away a tank with that, and I'm not sure that was intentional because he's still continuing to make tanks 3 at a time right now. It's a really delicate balance here. Little Lings coming in for the run by. Nicely done. It's a delicate balance for both players. We see SortOf's army supply is quite a bit higher at this point. He's just about maxed. And he's just going to keep throwing waves of locusts here at DynaMite. And DynaMite just, again, continuing to make tanks, which are really not ideal. Oh, the friendly fire. There's 5 tanks there. I think, what, 4 tanks went down, maybe? 3 or 4? BC's moving around the left side to try to kill this base. What we saw last game, DynaMite's units lost was a lot less. And this time it's been SortOf who's more cost efficient. Thanks in large part, basically completely, to these locusts, which have just gotten so much value. BC's kill that base, teleport away. Ooh, actually teleport right on top of the swarm hosts. Whoa. Gets a few Yamatos off, almost loses these BCs. You're gonna have to see a big pull and a mass repair. Oh, please move this BC over ground. There we go. Ravagers moving to this side. We have a base getting taken here from SortOf. Not bases you see taken very often. But this game going long. We're over 20 minutes at this point. SortOf's base relatively untouched for kind of a long time at this point. You know, this fringe base was taken out, and that's I don't want to say it's not a big deal, because it is. DynaMite is up a base right now. It's not fully mining, but he is currently up a base. Ooh, bit of a run by though. We'll be able to get some damage done here. 3 tanks popping out though. Should be able to get a nice defensive position and do some damage here. Hellbat's coming over to try to do something to this base. Is he gonna use some locusts? A few locusts going to the left, a few locusts going to the right. Locust gonna get 1 tank? No, not quite. Actually, that retarget doing a little bit less damage than is ideal. How many BCs do we have at the moment? 9 battle cruisers. 17 corruptors. Oh, gotta be really careful though. A yoink into a fungal. That's dangerous. Get out of there. Here you go. Loses 1 BC very quickly. Oh, gonna lose a few swarm hosts on the other side of things though. 2 groups of BCs. Making this a little bit harder for SortOf to handle. And again, these army movements have just been so nice from both players, constantly trying to catch the other player out of position. But this is a beautiful area for these Broodlords to attack into. A few Yamatos going down, a few Fungals going down. Gonna trade some units out. That Planetary, which has been standing strong against the Locusts, finally dies. Do we have any Thors here at all? We do not. Some Yoinks going down, more Yamatos going down. Really got to take care of some of these units. But there's still so many Broodlords going to continue to deal damage. Tanks causing all sorts of friendly fire all over the place as these Broodlings land. And this is why we don't see this many tanks versus Broodlords and Locusts. The friendly fire has just been so consistent, so damaging to DynaMite's own army. Now DynaMite falling under 150 supply, SortOf still maxed out. Broodlord count at 8. 3 Thors on the way, but there's so many Lings out as well. 17 SCVs have gone down. Looks like the BCs, they didn't teleport over here, they just kind of flew here. Should be able to take care of that base. But SortOf is still mining. He's on 3 mining bases right now. 51 workers, not that terrible considering it's only 3 bases. Oh, Swarm host left out to die here. Two swarm hosts going down. Sort of, he can't really afford to just lose units here. But at the same time, he has so many broodlords. And only 2 swarm hosts left, so the Locust's not going to really be that big of a factor at this point. And that's actually a really big deal here, because this army can handle a lot of broodlords. That's a lot of Thors. We have Hellbats in the front to tank. I don't know if I like the tank sieging up, though. But you know what? DynaMite's been taking some really good trades this game. So maybe I'm underestimating the power of the siege tank. There's just so few ground units here to really worry about, except the melee ones of the broodlings. There's a lot of broodlords though. There's more broodlords than Thors, and that is not usually a good trade. In the meantime, Lings completely killed his base and have killed 31 SCVs. DynaMite down to 27 workers, continuing to lose workers. Blinding Clouds and Fungals going down. These Thors forced to move out of their comfort zone. Tanks dealing so much friendly fire. And that looks like it's going to be the final battle of the game. DynaMite trying to produce some more Thors. But there's just still too many Broodlords out. Still 12 Broods on the map. There is still a BC somewhere. It's gonna just get killed. And there's too many broodlings. There's too many broodlings. DynaMite practicing his fantasy GG timing, but sort of has taken this game and tied up the series. I don't want to sugarcoat it here. This is an over game. This game is over. There's 14 SCVs, 61 army supply to 134. There's almost twice as many broods as Thors right now. In fact, yeah, there's more about to pop. So DynaMite's gonna tap out. It sort of takes game number 2. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Tying up the series. I'm liking it. These games have been really good. Should be getting into game 3 pretty soon here. Not sure what map we're going on. I wasn't privy to the veto conversation, so let the players deal with it. They know what they're doing. These guys are professionals. Hello, Bubby Germ, in the chat. I'm doing good. Doing well. Very, very excited to be casting some top-level games today. Like, there's so many good games that SortOf versus DynaMite has no other casters in it. There's a lot of casters today. So, but it's 1-1. It's 1-1. And we're going into Simulacrum. Simulacrum. You know, I learned how to say that at some point. I don't remember which one was right. Again, for chat, there is a 2-minute delay. So if you're wondering why I'm not answering questions immediately, that is why. Also, trying to focus on the games, you know? We got some killer games today. I don't know where we're going to be going after this. We might just follow whoever wins this. I'm not sure who they play. I haven't checked. Actually, I can take a look at that. Oh, Oh man. Oh, all right. Well, the winner of Avilo versus Disc is who's playing against the winner of this. So yeah, I think we might stick with that. Anyways, let's hop into our third and final game of the series, where we have spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Simulacrum. It is Cascade Esports, sort of. And in the upper left-hand corner, a blue Terran player for Triumphant Song Gaming. It is DynaMite. Now this map is very wide open. There's a lot of just big attack paths you can go through. So many different ways to get to them. And even just on 3 bases, there's 3 different ramps up. A few different options for a 4th. I think our Zerg player will likely take this one. Not sure what DynaMite's feeling. We see this one a lot as a 3rd. But it just depends on how you want to play the game. How you want to play the game. It's all about your play style. And we did see DynaMite go into a few cyclones in the first game. So we do have the possibility of those cyclones coming into play. I think this map is particularly good for that battle mech style. There's so many places that you can just kite for days. And it's so flat and open that it makes it really tough to get like wraparounds from SortOf, or surprise you with some high ground stuff, or use high ground vision to your advantage. It becomes very, very difficult to make those kind of plays on this map, just because so much of the middle is just so wide open. But we'll see. I kind of expect a similar play style, but I really liked SortOf's adjustment in game 2. Going into those swarm hosts, getting those corruptors out so much earlier, and focusing a lot less on the ground army, I guess, or I don't even want to say that, because at some points he did have a really strong ground army, but then he didn't bother remaking it when he didn't need to. Third base not delayed all that long here. But it looks like the exact same build out of DynaMite. No gas, though. At least not yet. I don't know if that's a mistake or just wants to get those minerals going first. There it goes. Alright. Just, I think it was a little bit earlier in the last couple of games. But perhaps it is I who is incorrect. This single marine, I guess that's to push away overlords if any try to come in cheekily. We do have pneumatized Katowice on the way. Sort of looking pretty similar here. We might see a Roach Warren go down kind of soon. I think that was at about the 4 minutes 30 mark in the last 2 games, but the Hellions are coming over. Did the Reaper die? Actually, I have 2 Marines out. I don't know if he made Marines in the last games. Yeah, this is bio. DynaMite's changing it up. Oh man. That's why this gas was a little bit later. Yeah, Reaper died. Unfortunate. Sad to see. The Reaper pairs nicely with the Hellions. That grenade is actually can kind of be a big deal. Oh man, but I think SortOf caught wind of this. Yeah, I think SortOf, based on the 2 Marines, has guessed correctly what this is. And if that's true, that's a hell of a read from SortOf. I mean, I see it. I thought the 2 Marines was a little sus as well. But he is going a much quicker 1-1. It is going to be Lings. I expect to see a Baneling Nest relatively soon. We have no Roach Warren. And just what a call here from SortOf. And it feels a little bit I want to say it just takes some guts to make a call like that. Because if he's wrong, he's in a terrible spot right now. Right? He's going for just not the right things to deal with what DynaMite was doing in the last couple of games. But he's not wrong. He's absolutely correct, and he knows it. He's very confident in that, and I love that out of SortOf. I wish I could like interview him after the series and just be like, was it really that obvious that he was going bio? We do have the Baneling Nest on the way. Lair just finished up. 1-1, getting pretty close here. Definitely quite a bit ahead of DynaMite's 1-1. Which is only about halfway done at this point. Sort of going for the low ground. I don't know if I want to call this the aggressive fourth base. This map's a little weird. There's a few different ways you can expand. But this one can be really nice to hold. It's actually not too difficult to hold for the most part, but it can be a good push location. Oh, there's only one medevac here. All these Marines are just gonna straight up die. Even the medevac goes down. I do not know what that push was. We do have a tank here and a few Marines to kind of hold off on this. That was an unfortunate push there for DynaMite, losing just a big group of Marines, basically just trading for a few lings and maybe some creep tumors. It is not ideal. 1-1 was also finished for SortOf for that fight. Oh man, and combat shields and 1-1 finishing just now. This is the move out you want. 16 Marines, 2 medevacs, clear and creep. Let's see, it's gonna be Hydralisks. An infestation pick coming up as well for SortOf. DynaMite going for the multi-prong attacks here. I'm really liking SortOf's position in this game. But DynaMite is up in army supply quite a bit at the moment. 11 Hydras on the way though. And that's gonna help equalize. Will also help keep these medevacs back. Makes it a lot harder to do these kind of moves. No bait speed yet. These Marines with stim. Oh, unless he doesn't split it all. And then he loses them all. But DynaMite has a lot of units back at home. Number of siege tanks. He really likes siege tanks, doesn't he? Double factory siege tank. And a lot of Marines coming out. DynaMite's army supply is still ahead, but SortOf has a lot of money, able to make what he wants to. 29 Banelings. Oh my god. So many Banelings, tasteless. Medevacs, we'll get on out of there. The Hydra upgrades coming up. I believe Groove Spines is finished already. And, or Muscular Augments is finished already. Groove Spines still on the way. Bane Speed. Oh man, he forgot Bane Speed though. That's really tough for SortOf. Feelings do get in, but don't last too long. No Bane Speed is actually absolutely killer here. If DynaMite can get a good position before Bane Speed finishes, that's going to be so difficult to dislodge. Splitting against no speed Banelings, especially as this creep starts to clear up. Oh, unless he doesn't split it all. DynaMite, you gotta work on your Marine control, buddy. Loses a lot of those Marines before the fight even happens to slow Banelings. All the tanks go down. Really lovely surround from SortOf though, hitting from 3 different angles. There's like no Marines left. There are a couple of tanks here. Pushing in, gonna be a little bit difficult, but going for the counterattack. The run by potentially into the natural base here. Oh, that's so frustrating. And if those tanks are not in position for DynaMite, that's going to be very much not ideal. However, there's not a lot of units over on this side. Oh, a couple of Vipers. In a bit of a dangerous position. Run by doesn't get a ton done. These Marines still going. Ling's trickling in, just dying. Ooh, yoinks. Kills the medevacs. Nice use of those Vipers. A little bit of a move out here from DynaMite. His army supply is now very much down. And there's just so much Zerg here for SortOf. A lot of Hydras. The Hydras have really not died, which is very important for the Hydras to do. Not a ton of Banelings at the moment. Ooh, another Ling run by. Space completely exposed. It is not even morphing into a planetary just yet. Yeah, not a lot of Banelings here, but we have 2 Ultras on the way. And DynaMite has... he has a couple Marauders coming out, but not much. Lings are hitting on the top side as this battle goes on. Even hitting down here, there's no defense at all. 18 SCVs have gone down. And this position gets pushed out. Chitinous is almost finished up. +3 melee almost finished up. These tanks gonna make, oh, the Vipers though. I was gonna say, tanks gonna make this a little bit tougher to push into, but not if you make them useless. A lot of bio here though. Still able to push back the Hydras. You really want those Ling buffer. This bio getting kind of low. I think those trades were overall pretty good for DynaMite, but considering how many SCVs were lost, his army supply also, it's actually just still so low. And as Todd would have us do, we need to look at the supply. 125 to 198 right now. Another Ling run by, just trying to go through and be annoying. 3-3 almost finished here for both players. Trying to do some harass here with those units. Does close the wall, but the wall gets just broken through. 3-3 will finish, so the Ling's not getting on top of that, but they have Adrenal, which means they're very good in these tiny little engagements and very good at killing workers. 16 workers going down. Oh my god, those Banelings almost got the most massive hit of their life. But the planetary goes down and DynaMite just has to tap out. Man, that was a bit of a rough game for DynaMite. It felt like at every turn it was not going well. And SortOf's able to take it, and he moves on.